sitting at the kitchen table reading the paper and smoking her morning cigarette. Even in her curlers and dressing gown, she sat upright, straight back, head held high at full attention. Regal. That was the best word for it. Apparently, even as a young girl, she was known as Her Majesty in the Irish seaside town she grew up in. It was a nickname that fit her in more ways than one. The rich aroma of fresh coffee filled the air. It was a tiny room, mostly taken up by the black cast-iron stove recessed into the mantelpiece. On one side, there was a built-in dresser and just enough room for a small wooden table and a couple of chairs. Two narrow windows looked out over the street below, and a clothes airer was suspended from the ceiling, to be lowered with a pulley. The rest of the neighborhood used the public lines hanging between buildings, but not us. It was common, according to my mother, and that was the last thing we Fanning women wanted to be. Ma frowned when I walked in. Anything out of the ordinary was cause for suspicion. "What are you doing up this early?" I couldn't sleep. I checked the gas meter above the sink. It was off. "It's cold," I said, knowing that I was asking for trouble. She shot a long stream of smoke at the ceiling, a combination of exhaling and a world-weary sigh. "When you get a job, you can stuff the meter full of quarters. Now, eat. You need something in your stomach, especially today." "I'm not hungry." I poured myself a cup of strong black coffee and sat down. The heat, or lack thereof, was always a sticking point between us. But since I came back, it had become the central refrain of almost every encounter. It's funny how some arguments are easier, more comforting than real conversation. I looked round the room. Nothing had changed except for the Roosevelt campaign leaflet pinned on the wall with the slogan, "Happy days are here again." Otherwise, it was all just as I remembered it. Above the stove were 3 books. Mrs. Rohrer's new cookbook, a manual of housekeeping, a copy of Modes and Manners, Decorum in Polite Society, and a small leather-bound Bible. Our entire domestic library. Next to that, displayed on the dresser shelves, were my mother's most precious possessions: a photograph of Pope Pius XI, a picture of Charles Stuart Parnell of the Irish Nationalist Party, and in the center of this unlikely partnership, a small wooden crucifix. Below, my framed diploma from the Catherine Gibbs Secretarial School took up the entire shelf. And on the bottom, a genuine blue and white Staffordshire willow-patterned teapot, with 4 matching cups and saucers, sat waiting for just the right occasion. A wedding gift brought all the way from Ireland. "So," Ma decided to get straight down to business, "what are you going to wear today?" "My blue dress. Maybe with the red scarf." "Really?" She sounded distinctly underwhelmed. "That dress isn't serious enough." "Serious enough for what? It's only an employment agency." She ignored my tone, folding the newspaper neatly. It would be saved and used again, to line the shelves of the icebox or wash windows, maybe even to cut out patterns for clothing. I used to wonder what it felt like to waste something. As a child, I couldn't imagine anything more delicious or sinful than the extravagance of throwing things away. I've wasted a few things since then. It's not as liberating as I imagined. Ma made me an offer. "I'll tell you what, Maeve. You can borrow my grey wool suit. I pressed it last night, just in case." She said it as if she were handing me the keys to the city. And in her mind, she was. Ma worked in a high-end department store called R.H. Stearns in downtown Boston. She'd been there years in the alterations department, working as a seamstress. But her real ambition was to be a saleswoman. More than anything, she fancied herself a fashion advisor to wealthy women. The kind of society mavens with enough money to buy designer gowns and a different fur for every outfit.